my favorite mom memory isn't any specific one. I don't think I don't have any specific memory, um, but I I just barely asked Naomi that, and she reminded me that I guess I always talk about how mom is so willing to, well, the many times when I wanted to play on the beach and everybody else kind of just wanted to lay out and soak up some rays, which is fine, but she always wanted to go out and do something and build a sand castle or help me with um, skimboarding or wakeboarding or whatever. And before she said that, I was thinking about how um, I used to spend hours out shooting hoops, just because that's what I love to do. And she would always make time, even though I know she was busy with the other kids or whatever, but she'd always make time to come out and shoot hoops with me and layups, and we'd play one-on-one. As long as I can remember, it's been like that. I remember being out in the sandbox and playing out in the sandbox for hours and building these big mounds, and she would come out and help me dig tunnels through, and I thought that was the coolest thing. And we even got intricate and started throwing marbles in there and making tunnels that the marbles could go down. And she's just always been like that. I mean, she's willing to drop everything to spend time with us and engage in the things that we're passionate about. And so I guess that's my favorite mom memory that I will cherish with me forever, and kind of what I aspire to be now that I'm a parent myself.
Okay, my favorite memory with mom. I've actually been thinking a lot about this lately, trying to rack my brain for what my favorite is. And I think the ones that stuck out the most for me are the ones that me and mom did some sort of race or running together, because we used to love doing that together. And I think the one that I enjoyed the most was we actually went up the canyon super early to do this race. I want to say it was like 5 or 6 a.m. And it was put on by, I think it was the McAllister's company. But we got there super early, and it was overcast and raining, and we did the race, and it was so much fun. Me and mom ran together for the first little bit, and then I got excited and ran ahead. And we met up at the end, and of course mom won an award for being awesome, and we got these massages after from BYU students who were training to become physical therapists or massage people, I don't know. They were super relaxing and fun. And afterwards we went and got breakfast, and me and mom got to really talk about stuff, and I think that's probably my favorite memory with mom.
So it's hard to pick just one memory that's a favorite with mom, because there's so many. But the one that comes to mind that happened fairly recently it was a little while before I got engaged. And mom and I were talking. I just stopped by one Sunday, and I think dad was in the basement. And we started talking about marriage. It came up, and I told her that Clint and I had decided to get married, and that it was not going to be in the venue that maybe she had initially anticipated, which was strangely scary for me right at that point. It was kind of odd. I was worried about disappointing people, and so she being one of the most important people that I didn't want to disappoint, it was kind of a scary moment. But she said something in that moment that was so wise and so insightful, and I'll never forget it. She said, "April, when you meet opposition, when you're doing what the Lord wants you to do, you will be met with opposition." And I hadn't thought about that in this scenario before, and it was so true and so wise, because I knew 100% that I was doing the right thing, and I was doing exactly what the Lord wanted me to do. My fear came from fear of being judged, and that was not righteous and not warranted, as it turns out. But her confidence and her wisdom and her insight made me feel so much comfort. And it was a big deal because it made making the most important decision and the best decision of my life much more comfortable, because I had her support, and not just her support, but her strength as well. And it was a moment that I will never forget, and that I am extremely grateful for even to this day.
Okay, my favorite memory with Mom is when we went to hike Baldy together. It was just me and her, and for some reason we both decided it was a good idea to hike Baldy alone. Now, at the time, it seemed like a really good idea because I loved hanging out with Mom, and hiking was great, and I loved, being on Baldy because it's just a fun place to be. Part of the way into the hike, as we started getting higher up on the mountain, we started seeing these like lightning-shaped scorch marks on a lot of the trees that were now dead. And I remember we both joked about it, thinking it was just a funny thing that was happening, and we decided it was okay to keep going. I don't remember how much later it was that we got a call or a text from Dad saying that a thunderstorm was headed towards us and that we needed to get onto the side of the mountain. Well, I remember me and Mom, I think we set up our tent like in the middle of a trail. I remember the tent was angled. I remember that much. It was angled, and me and Mom were both just kind of in the tent. And I remember we had to run off to the side of the mountain and lay down while this thunderstorm was passing over. And you could hear lightning going all over the place, and it was a storm. And I remember like that being one of the pivotal moments where I was like suddenly okay with like the idea of like dying in my own mortality, which sounds really dark, but I mean that's just kind of like, it's just kind of the way it is with Mom. You learn a bunch of new stuff, and you learn to be alright with a lot of things.
My favorite memory of Mom is we were in the Philippines. It was around my birthday, probably a few days before, and we used to walk down to the market is literally what it was called. And so we took a taxi there because wasn't in the mood to walk. I think it was raining. And we got there, we got tons of groceries, a bunch of clothes for my birthday, just a bunch of stuff. And we had probably a good 10 bags, plus we had gotten my birthday cake from the bakery there. So we had this like giant box that was just full of like this perfect cake. And we walk outside, get all our fruit, and I wanted to take a taxi to come home because we have like, I don't know, 1 million bags. And so I didn't want to walk all the way home with all the bags. And Mom was like, no, we can walk. It's not that far. And I was like, okay. And so we started walking home. Everything was fine and dandy. We were getting like little bruises on our hands from carrying all the bags around. And we walked by this construction truck, and there was a bunch of guys in it working, and they were all like yelling at me and like pointing and stuff, and me and Mom were just like, oh yep, they're pointing out the Americans, whatever. We just kept walking like idiots. And finally one of them was like, your leg, and I looked down, and right here I had a big cut because I was carrying the bags and the cake box was in one of them, and it was like poking my leg, and I didn't really notice because I'm carrying like 100 things. And me and Mom just couldn't stop laughing because there was just this giant cut on my leg, and we didn't even know. Of course Mom freaked out at first, thought I was dying, but after that, the initial shock of the blood, it was really funny, and we made it home without a taxi, surprisingly. Back to our apartment, and that cake was delicious, and I will always remember that because it was hilarious. And yeah, it's probably my favorite memory of Mom right now. There's a lot, but that's the one that comes to mind.
Okay, my favorite memory of Mom. I don't know that I can pick like one favorite memory, but I feel like my favorite things growing up to do with Mom, I just loved watching her cook. Like, I feel like I sat at the bar and watched Mom cook for hours on end, and I would just talk her ear off, and she'd, yeah, really. And I just wanted someone to talk to, and so I just watched her cook, sat at the bar, and she let me talk her ear off. I also always loved shopping with Mom. Like, she always just made it so fun. If it was grocery shopping, clothes shopping, shopping for the most boring thing in the world, like, I feel like Mom can make it fun. And that goes with, like, anything. Like, I never felt like Mom needed to spend money in order for us to have so much fun. I don't know if I should be, like, talking to Mom or saying, like, Mom, I love you, Mom. Cooper loves you, too. But seriously, like, Mom just had the best way of having so much fun and not having to spend $1 million. So, I guess my other favorite memory with Mom is just the runs we've been able to do. So, like, our half marathons and peach days, like, just having 2 hours running to talk and hang out. And I don't know, she's pushed me to be more healthy, and I love that.
All right, my favorite quirk that Mom has. Everyone's gonna say this because everyone has the same favorite quirk, and that is the G-rated swearing. What do we got? We got rotten eggs. What is it, like rotten eggs, dog bites, rackin', smackin', frackin', fiddlesticks. What else does she say? Ooh, rotten eggs, fiddlesticks, rackin', smackin', rackin', smackin'. That is my favorite quirk of Mom's. Holy crap. But if I were to say a nicer one, I would definitely say Mom's hugs. Like, all growing up, Mom was always, like, the huggiest, like, most empathetic person of all time that I, like, ever knew. I think still, to this day, the most empathetic person I know. And that's another great quirk, I'll say. It's so funny. I think that's the number one reason why I'm such a huggy person, and why so many people say I'm such a huggy person. I think I got that from Mom. I'm gonna for sure say I got that from Mom. I didn't get it from Dad. Got my sense of humor from Dad.
So, I think my favorite mom quirk, because I'm going to do that one first, is your happy proud dance that you do. It has to be a very special moment, but it's kind of like the jumping up and down, the and if you get a happy mom proud dance, you've probably done something stinking awesome. Usually it involves Mom holding your hands and her just jumping up and down or doing this with like a super cheesy smile, which I so love. So those happy dances, I think, are my favorite mom quirk. The story that comes to mind is maybe one that always pops up, but when we got locked out of the house and we decided to be pioneers, I always thought that was really cool that you thought of a way to make a situation that could have been really stressful, really fun and memorable. And I remember picking dandelion greens and mixing them with a little bit of sugar and eating them just for fun. And I think Paul peed in the backyard or something. But that was a fun memory for me. Even though I know it was probably a stressful situation for you, but it was really fun for me.
I think my favorite quirk about Mom is the way she talks. She just has such like a funny way of talking. Like, obviously she would never cuss. I think I've heard Mom cuss once in my entire life, and I deserved it, to be fair. But her little sayings growing up, like fart face fiddlesticks, rum dum, I don't even know. But all her little sayings growing up just like always made me laugh. And I remember at work one time, not work, school. I was in elementary school, and I like stubbed my toe or something, and I was like, fart face fiddlesticks. And everyone looked at me like I was crazy, and I was like, wait, that's not a common saying? So that's probably one of my favorite quirks about Mom. That and just like her deep, deep love of like all things natural, which has opened my eyes a lot, honestly, made me a healthier person. But that's something that I also think is really cute and really funny about Mom. It's just like her passion for natural stuff. Yeah, I love that about Mom. She's so funny. Also, her ability to start a food or water fight out of anything and in any situation, that one's good too.
All right, my favorite funny story with Mom was probably, I want to say it was the first or second time I brought over a girl that I was dating. And we were hanging out in the backyard, and Mom came out and was doing gardening or something, and she decided to do what happened a lot when we were little, but it was start a water fight. So me and Mom had started this water fight with the girl that I was just starting to date out there, and she had no idea what to do, but me and Mom were just spraying each other with a hose. I was running inside to get buckets of water to dump on her, and me and Mom ended up just laughing, and the girl didn't really know what to do, and I thought it was just hilarious that me and Mom had gotten into this huge water fight, and this girl was just like dumbfounded on what was going on. And I think that's my favorite funny story / memory with Mom.
Okay. My favorite quirk about Mom. I feel like Mom's quirky in like the best possible way. One of my favorite things that Mom does that's really quirky is her little everyone like, Mom, stop. But I love it, and I do it because it is effective to clear the throat, so I don't blame you one bit, Mom. Let's think, any other quirks? I don't know. I think that's probably my favorite one. And probably her swearing when she's like, when you're like, yay, yay, nay, nay, rockin', smackin', backin'. I think that's funny. Biblical swearing is always funny.
All right, so there's obviously a lot of fun quirks that Mom has, or funny stories. One that really helped me while I was on my mission is I had been out, not very long on my mission. I think I had just gotten to Argentina. I had been in my area for, I don't know, maybe a transfer or two, and I got this handwritten letter. There were always handwritten letters. A handwritten letter from Mom telling me how excited she was for me to come home, marry somebody, and start popping out babies, because she at the time was kind of baby hungry. And I just thought that's kind of funny, because here I was trying to focus on the mission and getting the word out and trying to focus on everything, and she was already looking ahead and getting excited about grandkids, and so I guess that's the funny story. I don't know, that's the one I can remember right now.
The biggest lesson I've learned from Mom, there's a lot. She taught me how to cook, how to clean, how to be like a good person, but I think the biggest thing she taught me was just to like be kind all the time. When we were growing up, I used to think it was weird when we were at, the park or the lake, and she would bend down and pick up beer cans and cigarette butts, and I was like, she's crazy. But now I find myself doing the same thing, and she just always had such an attitude of leave it better than when you came, both with like the environment and also with people. I mean, Mom gets a lot of crap from people around her just for her like innate ability to serve. She's always looking to serve, and even when people aren't appreciative or don't care for her, she still goes out of her way to serve them, and she'll never ever have something bad to say about something, because she's just so loving and so kind, and she's made me such a better person because of it. And I mean, she's the reason that I do what I do and why I love to serve. And I mean, every time we'd stop to pick up an old lady carrying groceries or pick up one of the neighbor kids and drive them home, it's just like, it's so inspiring to think back to just how she raised me and all of us with such a loving attitude and just the ability to serve everyone. It's just, I mean, that's insane. It's just that unwavering, always loving kindness.
God, I don't even remember her name anymore. But there was a person in our ward, I'm not sure if she's still there or not, but she was completely bedridden. She would just stay in the couch. She needed absolute help to function on a regular basis. And I think one of the biggest lessons I learned from Mom was selflessness more than anything else. I remember going over with Mom. I never liked going over. It was never fun. There was nothing about it that was like entertaining or a good time. And you could tell she was appreciative, but it for some reason it wasn't something that I enjoyed. And I don't know if Mom enjoyed it or not either, but she always did it. She always made an effort to go over there and help this poor lady that couldn't take care of herself. I remember going over to mow this lady's lawn as well, and this is just one example. There are many others, as everyone can probably think of, but I think the biggest lesson that I learned from Mom was the importance of being selfless, not just to receive some sort of like physical, like monetary reward or some sort of like social reward where a lot of people commend you for it, but just genuinely being a selfless person, which I am not. I need to get there. I don't know if I'll ever get to Mom's level, but if I was to say anything that really I learned a lot from Mom is it's being selfless. It's being selfless. It's putting others before yourself in a way that matters, that's actually significant. But yeah, that's what I would say.
Where to even start? I feel like I have learned so much from Mom. Like, about everything. About being a mom, about being a good person, about serving others, about not being afraid when, you think you need to do something, and taking care of your body, and I don't know, all that. I don't know, I just feel like she's taught me so much that it's hard for me to it's hard for me to pinpoint one exact thing. But I'd probably say the thing that she's taught me most is just selfless love. Like, Mom just has the ability to just serve others so unconditionally. Think about herself last. And never do it for the wrong reasons. I feel like Mom is always serving for the right reason. Like, she just, I don't know. Anyway.
What has been the most important lesson I have learned from Mom? Well, I think it's something that it's that she's so willing to stand up for her beliefs, and it doesn't matter that it might offend people. She's constantly looking out for other people, and sometimes it can come across as offensive, but once you get to know her, you realize that she genuinely does care about you, and that the things that she has said are things that she's just concerned about. For example, there was one time when she was talking about my gut, and she was talking about how they were bad fats, and I think some people might find that, they would have found that kind of offensive, but I know her well enough to know that she just genuinely cares about me, and even though it might be something that I don't want to hear, it's something that she was concerned about, and she wants me to stay healthy and happy as long as I possibly can. And she knows that the road to happiness is a hard-fought one, one that includes the gospel and one that includes being healthy and taking care of your body. So I guess that's the memory that I have of her, is that she's always willing to do the hard thing, which is sometimes telling people or speaking up or whatever, and doing things that some people might find offensive, but she does them because she genuinely cares and loves about you, and she wants you to be happy. So that's what it is. That's what I think my greatest memory of her.
Okay, the most important lesson I've learned from Mom. This one actually took me a little while, not because I haven't learned anything from Mom, but just because she's taught me so much growing up. And I think, excuse me, the most important lesson I've learned from Mom is to just love everyone else and be kind to everyone around you, regardless of what they've done or how they've treated you, which is something I've still struggled with, but Mom has always been a great example and has taught me that everything is just better when you can help anyone who needs it, regardless of what they've done, and just be kind and loving to everyone around you, especially members of the family. And I'm gonna say another one, even though I already said one, and this one has stuck with me hard. I even remember the exact place that she told me about it. I was pretty young, and the family had taken a trip to Lagoon for, I want to say it was Omniture with Dad, when it was still kind of small, so it was not a lot of people in the park. And of course, back then, / a little bit now, I didn't want to go on a lot of the rides that the family wanted to go on. And Mom was nice enough to stay with me, and I was never super enjoying just sitting by myself, and I was always pouting when I didn't get to go with everyone else because they didn't do what I wanted to do. And Mom taught me the lesson that I can have fun and be happy regardless of where I am. And I've still thought about that moment and done that to this day, that regardless of where I am or, you know, what's going on, I can still have fun and be happy, whether that's sitting in line at the DMV for hours and hours, or, you know, just in a place that, you know, isn't necessarily supposed to be super fun, but that I can make it fun and that I can be happy. And those are probably the most important lessons I've learned from Mom.
I think the most important lesson that Mom has taught me is to just love and serve people unconditionally. She always serves first and thinks about it later. And I have a tendency to overthink, but she sees people and instantly she's thinking about what she can do to make their lives better. And she doesn't hesitate, she just does it. And that's something that I am working on learning, but something that I want to embody just like she has, because it's an incredible skill.
Mom, you're probably watching this right now, so I love you so much. I'm so glad we all got to have you growing up. And I hope you have a great day.
Say hi, Grandma. Say Happy Mother's Day.
Anyways, I love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. Wish I could hug you.
Woo!